الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين واللعن الدائم على أعدائهم أجمعين أما بعد فقد قال الله عز وجل في كتابه الكريم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم بالمن والأذى آمنا بالله وصدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات. Alhamdulillah, we had another tawfiq this year to be present in the Holy Land during the days of Arba'een and to benefit from the khidmah of the people, of the local people over here and the people who are serving the Zuwar of Imam al-Hussein. And Alhamdulillah, with the backpackers as well, we saw that we too can be volunteers, we too can be khuddams and do khidmah and help each other. And Alhamdulillah, it was wonderful to witness this as part of our group at the backpackers, that every one of us was ready to help the other in every way possible, whether it was in the different cities we were or whether it was during the walk between Najaf and Karbala. Khidmah is a very important thing and it's a very beautiful thing and it's something that naturally shakes a human being. Naturally, irrespective of one's religion, you find that when you see a sacrifice being done, when you see an act of generosity, you feel moved, you feel emotions coming out naturally when you find somebody showing a sense of sacrifice, a sense of selflessness. However, selflessness and khidmah and volunteering has levels. And it's important that we pay attention to this. So I'd like to discuss something very beautiful about this aspect of volunteering and the levels of it. And I'd like to do so by talking about the maqam and the levels of the companions of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Personally, I always had this question. When I used to grow up and talk about Karbala, there was one question that was pretty much bothering me as well. I remember sometimes coming even to Karbala and being bothered by this question. What is it that made the companions of Imam al-Hussein so special? And especially Abu al-Fadl Abbas. What did he do? I mean, when you look at the traditions about Abu al-Fadl, it's astonishing the level that he attained. But if I were to ask you, can you write me 2 pages, 3 pages on what did he do really to attain this maqam? This was a question that I could not answer. I was looking for an answer for it. And alhamdulillah, many years ago, probably a decade ago, in one of the Muharram lectures in the city of Qom, one scholar mentioned something, and that really opened doors for me. Perhaps it's simple, perhaps you already know it. I was Jahil at that time. Inshallah, you all know about this, it's just a reminder. But really, it showed, and obviously work needs to be done to understand this even more. And I'm still looking into it, still thinking about it, how it's possible they've attained this. So I'd like to share this with you. But to do so, inshallah, let me introduce the topic a little bit first. In our lives, we go through difficulties. In our lives, we go through musibah, we go through bala, we go through difficulties, efforts, different types. We could divide them into 2. There are some difficulties that come to us naturally as part of life. We become ill, get a toothache, financial difficulties, families, relationships, you name it. There's difficulties that comes in our life. They're part of life, as we call them. In fact, Allah tells us that there is a reason why we do this, why we send difficulties to you. And our responsibility when it comes to these difficulties is what the Quran has taught us, that you have to have patience, that you have to accept the difficulty and be happy with what Allah brings to you, have rida, whilst at the same time you're working to solve the difficulty, because patience is not sitting there and just crying about it. Rather, patience is to work towards solving the problem, but at the same time be very content and happy with whatever Allah decides for me. And there are many traditions that talk about how we need to interact with these difficulties. And how we need to understand that they don't happen randomly. It's not that just something happened out of these material causes. No. There was a divine hand in the difficulties that come in our lives. And we need to see that divine hand and realize that this divine hand is there for my personal growth, for me to attain a higher level, for me to detach myself from different things, and for me to reach human perfection. This is to do with the first type of difficulties. So the first type of difficulties is the normal type of difficulties that come in our lives. I want to have a talk about a second type of difficulties. You see, we go through trouble, we go through difficulties. But the second type of difficulties is difficulties that are part of a journey that we ourselves have decided. We ourselves have taken a step towards something, towards a particular goal, and in that journey there's difficulties. And volunteering is like this. Volunteering is like this. I myself, for those who have come from abroad, from the UK, Canada, Africa, when you come over here and you volunteer, you decided yourself that you're going to come over here and volunteer. And part of that journey will come with difficulties. It will come with sleepless nights. It will come with hearing things people say, people complaining. It will hear with different, maybe hunger, maybe thirst, a lot of sweat. No, natural difficulties. All the khuddams, all the people that were volunteering over here, they went through a lot of trouble, a lot of difficulties, a lot of loss of wealth probably, loss of physical strength. But they were happy. It's a decision that we took, is part of it. And the ashab of Imam al-Hussein, same thing. They decided to stay with Imam al-Hussein. That means that they accepted that this will come with difficulties. So this second type of difficulty is part of what we decide when we become volunteers. Decide when we do khidmah. If I want to become a volunteer, naturally. If I want to become a member of the community and a volunteer in the community, whether it's secretary, whether it's president, whatever position that I take up, it'll come with difficulties. You take a person from the car park, a person from the kitchen, a person from the AV, a person from who's the president. It all comes with their own levels and types of difficulties. But it's one that we have decided to take. Now in this second type of difficulties, there are levels. People are graded according to how they deal with these difficulties. And this is what I want to talk about. Level 1. Brothers, pay attention to this because this is really important. Volunteering in our community is a big part, right? Big communities know this. Stanmore, Birmingham, Canada. We know how volunteering is essential. When you come over here, those who are heads of the groups, those who are backpacking, you know how volunteering is essential for things to work. And it's part of our life to become volunteers. It's very important that we pay attention to the levels of volunteering and how we can increase and become better. The first type and the first level of volunteering is when I volunteer in exchange of something. And I do this by belittling the other person I'm volunteering towards. And you find this. I'm helping you, I'm giving you a glass of water, right? But I'm giving it to you with the understanding that, don't mess with me, I'm the volunteer, you're the small guy over here. You haven't done anything. You came over here, you slept in the hotel, ate good food, I was working the whole time while you were. I even took a photo of you sleeping, you're relaxed. I volunteered. Me and you, I'm the better one over here. Or worse, you volunteer in a way that I keep in mind that I helped you. I'm the person who did this for you. And then later on, I will remind you. Remember that day I helped you out? Remember that day it was me who sorted your problem out? You were in a big mess. I sorted you out. I used my contacts. I used my money. I used my strength. Whatever it was, I helped you. Nice payback. You have to give back to me. This level, the Quran tells us that we need to avoid. This is something that we need to stay far away from. Hadith tells us that this removes the action. It destroys the action. It was better to stay home. You should have gone to a beach resort and enjoy your holiday instead of coming like this and volunteering with this kind of attitude. The Quran tells us that don't destroy, لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم. Don't do batil of your sadaqah. Ahsant. By doing what? By doing minnat. It was me that did help you. Always remember, keep in your mind. That is something you want to avoid. That's something, is a type of volunteering that we want to stay far from. It's easy to say, but at the back of my mind sometimes it's there. I was backpacking, I was doing all the volunteering, I'm better than all of you guys. Why are you laughing, everyone? It's easy to say, but it's difficult. Don't take it simple. But it needs to be removed from our hearts. That when I'm backpacking, when I'm volunteering, when I'm doing khidmah, at any level it may be, whether it's arba'in or outside of arba'in, is something that I don't bring with it minnah. That's level 1. Level 2 is better. Level 2 is when I volunteer, and with this volunteering I only seek the reward from Allah. I volunteer, I serve water, arrange accommodation for you, help you park your car, sort out your finances, whatever level of volunteers I do. And I do this only for the sake of Allah. I will never remind you of it. I will count myself as somebody who's not worthy, who's not necessarily higher than you, right? I'm just helping you, and I'm not seeking anything back from you. I don't want your money. I'm doing it because I'm seeking the pleasure of Allah. I want the reward that Allah has promised for those who do khidmah. This is a very amazing state. This is something we need to seek. This is something we need to work towards. That when I work and I volunteer, what I'm looking for, what I'm getting in exchange, is not something material. It's not something worldly. It's something to do with Allah. It's like a deposit that I'm helping you right now. Okay, I'm depositing something for my hereafter, for the next world. My attention is towards something greater than this relation that is happening right now. Brothers, this is valid for anything we do. That level of attention that we put is very important. Whenever we do something, what are you seeking? What are you paying attention to? Am I paying attention to what I'm going to get from you? The thank you that I'm going to get, the praise that I'm going to get? Or am I paying attention to something loftier, something greater, something to do with eternity, something to do with the next world? And when we talk about thawab, we talk about the pleasure of Allah, we talk about the levels of paradise for those who do khidmah. You have hadith of the Prophet and the Ahl Bayt about this that are beautiful. Anfa'un nas, the one who is the best of people, is the one who is the most beneficial to others. Do you know how many hadith that we have about the importance of visiting the ill, giving charity, helping your needy brother? There are certain hadith that that I cannot fathom and understand. That, for example, we are told that Allah says on the Day of Judgment, I was ill, why didn't you come and see me? So what? This doesn't make sense. He says, your believing brother was ill. Had you gone see him, you would have this as if you went to meet Allah. So let's not take this lightly. When we volunteer, we're seeking something greater, something higher. And we pay attention to this. That glass that you put in front of the person says, please have some water. I don't seek anything from you, nothing. All I want is the pleasure of Allah. All I want is the reward from Allah. All I want is something greater. This is level 2. And this is something that we need to work towards. But there is higher. there is something higher. And the companions of Imam al-Hussein were not at this level. They were at a higher level than this. And this is when it becomes something that we can talk with words, but needs a lifetime to understand and achieve. Possible to achieve. They achieved, we can too as well. The third level is when I count the volunteering act as even unworthy in face of the one who I'm giving it towards. That I forget that I even did this. I don't even count it as important, even though I'm giving my entire life. I'm giving my entire life. Yet I ask Imam al-Hussein, is it okay? Did I do something good? What level does a man achieve when he sees things like this? That he counts himself completely unworthy. Unworthy when he's doing this. And there's a reason behind it, which I'll come to in a second. But this is what we aim for. And this is what you see in the plains of Karbala. And you see this also in Arba'in as well. You see this a lot in Arba'in. That when they come and they ask you, come home, I'll feed you, I'll give you hammam, I'll arrange transport for you to take you back. And then they're crying, says, it's not worth anything. It's not worth anything. That's real beauty. Forget the first one, that it was me who did it. I did it, remember? The second one was still good. Very important. We need to work towards. I'm seeking higher eternity. But in this one, there was no me. It's completely selfless. Once, Alamat Watai's brother sees his parents in the dream. Dad's upset. Why? He said, wrote Al-Mizan, the creators of Tafsir of the Quran. Why don't you send the thawab of it to your father? He came to Allama. Said, this is the story. He said, I didn't even think that this was worth it. I didn't think this was worth it. To this extent, that you don't count yourself as worth it. That the thing that we do, you might be giving everything. But you see how different it is from the first few levels and where we can reach. That level of selflessness, but I don't count it as worth it anymore. And that comes from when we don't value our actions, when there's no I in my actions. There's no me and the great amazing things that I did and I do, that people praise me for. The difference between Qarun and the prophets is this. Qarun comes out, as the Holy Quran says in Surah Qasr, he comes out with his wealth. People are amazed, oh, we wish we had the wealth of Qarun. The pious people would come to Qarun and says, you shouldn't come like this, you should give some charity, use the wealth in the way of Allah. He says, no, everything I've gained is from my own knowledge. I was a smart guy in business. I did all the deals. There was me in it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Musa, do you know why I selected you, O Musa? I did not find anyone more humble than you. In other words, Musa didn't see himself. After everything he did, he said, I didn't do anything. What did I do? It's a very beautiful incident. It's a funny one as well. It's been reported that once Ayatollah Ahmad Naraqi wrote a book, Miraj Sa'ada. It's a very important akhlaq book. It's a big, thick manual. It's a textbook of akhlaq, of ethics. So the book has spread. People know about this book. He's famous for the book. He leaves Qum and he comes to the city of Najaf. Now it's tradition that when a scholar comes, a great scholar comes to a different city, the scholars of that city come and pay him visit. So he comes to Najaf, all the scholars come and pay visit. Assalamu alaikum, you've come, can we do anything for you? All the scholars one by one come. After a few days, there's one scholar who hasn't come. Ayatollah Bahr al-Ulum hasn't come to meet Al-Naraqi. So what's happening? They wait, no news. So Ayatollah Naraqi says, no problem, I'll go to see him. Why should he come? It's okay, I'll go, no problem. So they went. As they came, the news came that Ayatollah Naraqi is coming to the office of Ayatollah Bahr al-Ulum to visit him. Ayatollah Bahr al-Ulum, like you've seen the daftar of the Maraja, the scholar is sitting, people around him asking questions, this fiqh question, that fiqh question. There's a lot of, it's busy. Ayatollah Ahmad Naraqi enters the room, nothing happens. He's being noticed, he's just entered, nothing happens. He comes and sits close by to Ayatollah Bahr al-Ulum. Ayatollah Bahr al-Ulum looks at him, Assalamu alaikum, you okay? Alhamdulillah, nothing. Doesn't get up, carries on with his business. So what is this? A level of disrespect. I would feel bad. Ayatollah Naraqi. Nothing. Ayatollah Naraqi says, Salam, everything, you okay? Conversation ends, he leaves. People feel really bad. But time passes, few weeks passes, Ayatollah Ahmad Naraqi, announcement comes that he's now going to go back to his town, back to Qum. Again, tradition is that all the scholars come and they say farewell to the departing scholar. So all the scholars now come to the office of Ayatollah Naraqi. Say, Qadafis, thank you for coming, take gifts, etc. Everybody comes, the last day, Ayatollah Bahr al-Ulum still hasn't come. So Ayatollah Naraqi says, it's okay, we'll go. So, what are you doing? He says, leave him, he doesn't want to see you, not interested, doesn't have any respect for you. He says, no, it's okay, he's a scholar, Ayatollah Bahr al-Ulum is a scholar, I will go see him, it's not a problem. He says that he started going towards the office of Ayatollah Bahr al-Ulum. When the news came that he's coming, the story says that Ayatollah Bahr al-Ulum came out of the office onto the streets, and when he saw, he ran towards Ayatollah Naraqi and he hugged him. And he told him, I wanted to see, does the author of this book also have it in his actions or not? And I indeed saw it, that you had it in your actions. Despite everything that happened, it wasn't, I wrote this book, I am the famous Ayatollah Naraqi, people come and kiss my hands. None of that. You won't come to yourself, I'll come to you. You see how it's possible that we can do amazing things in this world. Great things in this world. But the key is to count it as nothing. The problem is when we give it value of our own. And we say that it gives us value. I did it. That level of sincerity that we are seeking is not just I did it and I'm seeking the pleasure of Allah and the reward of Allah. It's like, what did I do? I forgot. I downplay it. It's unworth it. That is a very high level. And it requires work. It requires us to work on this. What is the reality behind this? Is this something that's just an emotional thing that we're talking about? That now you go home and you do this to be like, I'm nothing, or my actions and my volunteering are worth nothing? No. This is actually a reality. Brothers and sisters, pay attention to this. We are not talking about something that you need to convince yourself of. No. We are talking about a reality that really in reality, everything that I have, everything that I do is from Allah. It's tawfiq from Allah. Correct? Then how can I make it valuable and say, I did it, it's worth it? That's why the scholars say perhaps that what happened on that night of the night of Ashura, when Imam al-Hussein switched off the light and said, go leave, and nobody left, that at that point, These individuals, these companions, they did not count themselves that we are doing a service to the Imam. That, oh Imam, you have to say thank you to us that we stayed back and that we are going to help you. The opposite. They felt like, oh Imam, please let me stay. You see the difference? I would have been there. I've left my family back home. Okay, you don't have to say thank you to me, but at least I feel like I'm doing something. I'm doing like a help to the Imam. I'm helping the Imam. Over here is the other way around. Oh Imam, would you allow us to stay? Please allow us to stay. You see how things are different. Because they realize the reality is what? That if I'm allowed to stay over here, it's tawfiq min Allah. It's tawfiq from Allah. That I'm achieving a station. I'm unworthy. Everything that I have is from Allah. Everything that I own belongs to Allah and His wali. Belongs to the Imam. This body of mine that I want to sacrifice is not mine in the first place to give it away. It's yours, O Imam. Allow me to stay. What a station. Really, that night things changed. When they realized that it's not more about us doing a favor, it's the other way around. We are unworthy over here. That is true level of volunteering. When you tell Allah that I'm giving this sadaqah, and this is from hadith as well, that when you give sadaqah, Allah tells you that, do you know that you are more in need of the sadaqah than the poor person you are helping? This is why you're told when you give sadaqah, kiss the other person's hand. He did you a favor, not you helped him a favor. When I park that car, and he complains, and the person's like complaining this and that, kiss him. Say, thank you for allowing me to serve you. Even though my service is not worth anything. Imagine we build a community like this, where all our volunteers are like this. Not with minnah, but rather they feel their work unworthy. And when you see it like this, you put 10 times more effort as well. Ready to sacrifice even more. Ready to bear all the difficulties even more. Because I know it wasn't mine in the first place. It's not worth anything. It belongs to Allah. It belongs to the Ahlul Bayt. So that moment, when the companions saw it like this, and they expressed it like this, is this when you realize their station was so high. Look at the story of Abu al-Fadl Abbas. I'll mention this, inshallah, I'll end. Inshallah, Sayyid Mushayid will recite the Masa'ib. I'll just begin the Masa'ib, inshallah, and he'll carry on. Look at the moment when Abu al-Fadl Abbas comes to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, that last moment. It's a very heartbreaking moment, and the station of Abu al-Fadl Abbas on that day is manifest, on that moment is manifested. He comes to Imam al-Hussein, according to different narrations, and he asks permission to go and fight. Now, you know Abu al-Fadl Abbas at that time is around 35, 36 years old. Right? He's a brave warrior. He's known as a warrior. He's the commander of the army right now. He has a history of battle. Had he gone to fight, he would have fought one of the greatest battles of time. And it would have been written in history that Abu al-Fadl Abbas fought that valiant battle of Karbala. Kids would have been talking about it for decades. The battle of Abu al-Fadl Abbas on the day of Karbala. For warriors, natural. You want to go on the battlefield and fight. That moment when Imam al-Hussein tells the commander of the army, the greatest of warriors, go and bring some water. What does it do to a soldier, let alone a commander? So Imam Hussein
I want to go fight. I want to show you that battle. I want to show you the strength of Abul Fadl Abbas. I want to be that warrior. Let me fight. None of that. None of that. Bring water. You tell one of the small soldiers to bring water. A commander doesn't go to bring water. None of that. That is the station of Abul Fadl Abbas. Imam Hussein tells Abul Fadl Abbas, you bring water. He says, okay, I'll bring water. No problem. That's when you realize that he thought to himself, I'm even bringing water. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and the tawfiq. What am I worth? Nothing. I'm worth nothing. If you think I'm worth bringing water, I'll bring water for you and your little children. That is an amazing state to achieve. That is something spectacular. Brothers and sisters, if you stand in front of the maqam of Abul Fadl Abbas and tell him, well done for what you did on that day. That was a role model for us, that this is how you do khidmah. That I am unworthy. I could have done so much, I as the commander, but there was no I in that. Imam Hussein tells him, go bring water. He says, okay, I'll bring water. Puts his sword away, let's get the mashk of water. And he starts going towards the battlefield to get some water for the children. Abul Fadl Abbas goes towards the water. And he arrives to the water, puts his hand in the water. And then he looks at the water and he says, how can I drink before my master? He fills his bag of water, climbs back on the horse. This is the journey back towards Imam al-Hussein. But this time he only has one goal, to take this water. As he goes towards the camp of Imam al-Hussein, the enemy gather around him. They attack him from different sides until one of them comes from behind and hits on his right hand. The bashka goes to the left hand, but the goal is the same. As he carries on, another person comes and hits on his left hand, and he still carries on holding the mash to his mouth. But Allah, an arrow comes on the mashk of water. Suddenly he sees the water dripping away onto the sands of Karbala. I'm not sure if he looked behind him to see, shall I go back and get some more water or not? Until a mal'un comes and hits him on the head so hard that Abul Fadl Abbas falls to the ground. From the bottom of your house, say, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein.
صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله صلى الله عليكم He approaches his brother. He says, هل لي من رخصة? What are you saying to me, my brother? What question is this that you are asking me? Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas looks at his brother. He sees that his beard is soaked with his tears. He says, "Oh, my brother, you are the standard bearer of my army. Abbas, do you want to leave me as well?" Abbas, look around. Everyone has left me. Abbas, will you leave me too? He says, "Fine, my brother, if you will leave." Abbas, can you hear? Listen to the tens. Abbas, can you hear them calling out, "Al-Atash, Al-Atash"? Abbas, you only have sons, you don't have any daughters. Abbas, you know the pain of a father when your daughter is thirsty and you have no water to offer her. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas makes his way to the battlefield. Abbas, why is it that before you left you didn't bid farewell to Zainab? Everyone who gave their lives on the day of Ashura had a wida with Abi Abdullah. Before they set out to the battlefield, they said, "Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah." All of the youth of the Bani Hashim would say farewell to the women. They would place their hands over the heads of the children. But when Abbas went to the battlefield, he did not bid farewell. And no one asked why. If Abbas is going to the battlefield for water, he returns back to the tents. But when Abbas made his way to the river, in this moment I wish that Abbas had said farewell to his sister. He lifts the water to his lips. فرم الماء على الماء. It's as if he's saying, "Abbas, are you going to think that your water bringing is worthy of any reward?" It's as if you want to reward yourself before you did anything. Abbas, bringing water for the Sakina of Hussein is a duty. It's not a favor. He throws the water onto the water. Ya Aba al-Fadl, how I wish you had drank from that water. O Saqi of Abi Abdullah. Last night I was in the haram. One of the scholars was narrating that every time he enters the haram of Abu al-Fadl, he desires to drink water inside the haram. They asked him, "Why do you want to drink water in the haram of Abu al-Fadl?" He says, "Abbas is the Saqi of Abi Abdullah. He likes to see his lovers drink water. But he says, when I enter the haram of Abu Abdullah, I never drink water. How can I stand in front of the Dari and know that they killed my master while his lips were dry?" Ajarakallah. This is the feeling of Abbas. When he fills the water bag and he returns, he's speaking with himself. Ya nafs min ba'd al-Husayn huni wa ba'dahu la takuni. Abbas, do you want to live after your master? What is this life after the Imam of your time? The Imam of your time said, "Bring water." Do you desire anything after Hussein? But the cowards are hiding behind the trees. Allow me to skip this portion of the musibah, my brothers. I don't want to hurt you. Ya Sahib al-Zaman, this musibah is heavy on your heart. heart. Let me say this in passing. They said, al-Banin, our condolences to you for what? They killed your sons in Karbala. She says, if they killed my sons, I understand it's a battle. But tell me this, my son Abbas was a warrior. I gave birth to this Abbas so he would defend Hussein. How is it that they killed my Abbas on the day of Ashura? One report I heard Zainab says herself to al-Banin, don't blame your son. Your son didn't have any arms to defend his master. My brothers, a moment comes. The archers are firing their arrows. When Abbas is making his way back to the tents, suddenly فوقف العباس متحيرا. He stops in his place. You know why he stops? He says, if I go forward, they fired an arrow at my qirba. Without water, do I dare return to Sakina? If I go back to Furat, with what arms will I bring more water? Let me say this in iltimas ad-du'a. My brothers, when you go to Bayn al-Haramayn, if Abbas had returned to the tents, then his haram would not be where it is. You see, the Alqama is in one position, the haram of Hussein is in one position, Abbas is far away. This tells me when the water fell onto the sun, Abbas turned around. All of a sudden Abbas can hear a noise. He can hear the sound of someone approaching. May I be sacrificed for the heart of Abbas. Not at one moment does he feel any fear in his heart. He says, oh man, you have come to me when I no longer have any arms to defend myself. The man leans over Abbas. He says, Ya akhi, أنا الحسين. He says, if that is you, Ya Abu Abdullah, there's an arrow in my eye, I cannot see you. Can you clear the blood from my eyes so I can see the face of the Imam of my time? Let the last face that I see before I return to Rasulullah be the Imam of my time's face. My sisters, my brothers, all of the children have lined up outside of the tents. They can see the alam, but who is this? There is no alam dar. All they see is a man whose back is bent over. He's saying, Al-an inkasara dhahri. He's saying, now my back is broken. The reports say Abu Abdullah went straight to the tent of Abbas. No explanation. He takes down the pole from his tent. Without uttering a word, everyone knows Abbas isn't coming back. Ya Abu Abdullah, I wish you had done something else instead. Why did you not go to Sakina and say, Sakina, take off your earrings? Your defender isn't returning. Did you not go to Zainab and say, Zainab, prepare for being imprisoned? How much did the children know of that night? Ya Abu Abdullah, did you warn them? These men do not see you to be worthy of respect. are the daughters of Zahra after all. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل العباس ابن أمير المؤمنين يا حسين. يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين. Do you recognize me? Do you recognize me? I am from Mustafa, from the line of Ali, daughter of Fatima, daughter of Fatima. Do you recognize me? Do you recognize me? I am from Mustafa, from the line of Ali, daughter of Fatima, daughter of Fatima. My father would recite these verses in tune. يؤتون الزكاة وهم راكعون. Did you want earrings for your daughter as well? If you told me, I'd have given them to you. If you told me, I'd have given them to you. وأما السائل فلا تنهر. Is there someone who can take me to my father? وأما السائل فلا تنهر. Is there someone who can take me to my father? فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر. Who is thirsty then I don't want your water. فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر. He was thirsty then I don't want your water. Every time I'd cry they would leave a bruise. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا. At least hit me, my aunt don't abuse. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا. 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 وسيعلم ظلموا. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا. وسيعلم. Call out to me, Father. Call out to me, Father. You went, then they attacked. How they hit your daughter and struck me on my back. And struck me on my back. I'll be alright, Father. Tell me how you've been. I know that help will reach us from the unseen. When they would raise their hands, this was my weapon. I said, Inna Allah ma'as sabirin. I said, Inna Allah ma'as sabirin. How is my aunt still standing after today? I am tired and cannot sleep without you. With all her pain, she will still get up to pray. But my heartache can only be cured by you. With all her pain, she will still get up to pray. But my heartache can only be cured by you. How they broke your mother's hand, I have a clue. وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا. Do I look like her now that my eyes are blue? وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا. 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 Come and take me with you. Come and take me with you. This place is not for me. Why won't you come rescue? For Father, I'm thirsty. For Father, I'm thirsty. Since Asghar was your soldier, I will be strong. With you the path to Kufa will not be long. Watch over me from up there on the spear. Soon I will be in your arms where I belong. Soon I will be in your arms where I belong. وتدعوني أستجب لكم. I know the Lord of Abbas is still my protector. وتدعوني أستجب لكم. I know the Lord of Abbas is still my protector. I want to be Abbas for my aunt, so no one will dare to come and disrespect her. I want to be Abbas for my aunt, so no one will dare to come and disrespect her. To my face with his hand, what did he do? وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا. Where is your head now? Did they hit you too? وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا. وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا. وَسَيَعْلَمُ ظلموا. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا. وسيعلم الذين. Every time I fell, you took my hand. When I lose balance, you help me stand. Every time I fell, you took my hand. When I lose balance, you help me stand. I let go of you, you hold on to me. I let go of you, you hold on to me. Oh, Hussein, oh, Hussein, who am I that you are mine? Your love is God's great sign. Oh, say, oh, say, who am I that you are mine? Your love is God's great sign. For the one with no friends on his own, you come to his side when he's alone. I call out to you, you respond to me. I call out to you, you respond to me. Oh, Hussein, oh Hussein, stay with me. I'm sorry I took your love lightly. Oh Hussein, oh Hussein, who am I that you are mine? Your love is God's great sign. When the world throws everything my way, from your path my heart begins to sway. Keep me close to you, don't get rid of me. Keep me close to you, don't get rid of me. Oh Hussein, oh Hussein, I'm in need. I must be freed from the chains of my greed. Oh Hussein, oh Hussein, stay with me. I'm sorry I took your love lightly. Oh Hussein, oh Hussein, who am I that you are mine? Your love is God's great sign. Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdullah, وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. Many are leaving tonight, many are leaving tomorrow. I don't know if this will be my last ziyarah, ya Aba Abdullah. Shukran laka ya Aba Abdullah, with your eyes of grace and mercy. You invited the sinner for the ziyarah of Arba'een once again. By the right of Bab al-Hawaj, will you invite me back to Karbala? I don't know if this will be my last salam from Karbala. My sisters and brothers, with our hands over our hearts, let's send our salam to Abi Abdullah, so that perhaps when the Imam of our time rises, we can be the Abbas of Sahib al-Zaman all together. As-salamu ala al-Husayn wa ala Ali ibn al-Husayn wa ala أولاد الحسين وعلى. Let's send our salam one more time on behalf of the shuhada. Assalamu ala al-Husayn wa ala Ali ibn al-Husayn wa ala وعلى أصحاب وعلى عباس الحسين ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا صاحب العصر والزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن وإمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم كن وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. Ya Allah, our greatest desire is the coming of our Master, Sahib al-Zaman. Ya Allah, we beg you, we implore you, we have come all the way to Karbala so that you make us strong warriors for Sahib al-Zaman. Ya Allah, through our hands, through our efforts, through our struggles, relieve all of the oppressed around the world, especially the oppressed in Gaza. Ya Allah, through our hands and through our efforts, destroy all the oppressors in the world. Ya Allah, through our hands, through our efforts, hasten the coming of our Master, Sahib al-Zaman, bin Nabi wa Ali wa bil Fatiha ma'a salawat.